Hey everyone, and welcome to another action-packed edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. It is Wednesday, November the 5th, and it's turned out to be another pretty nice November day across the valley. Earlier on this morning, we had more clouds than sun. Gradually from north to south, these clouds have been thinning out, and actually, if you're looking up in the sky this afternoon around 2 o'clock in Mahoning County, southern parts of Mercer County, you can easily see up in the sky the very sharp edge to these clouds. Columbiana County still seeing just some milky sunshine and a lot of high and mid-level clouds right now, but the farther north you go, the more sunshine you run into this afternoon. So it's a pretty nice day. It's not as warm as it was yesterday, but as expected, we've made it into the mid-50s this afternoon. Our average high is closer to the lower 50s now at this time of the year, so it overall no complaints today, especially with the kind of weather we have coming in the next week or so. Across the rest of the country, we've got another little wave of low pressure trying to form along our old front down here. This is going to cruise north and east tonight and spread the chance for a couple of showers back into the valley later on tonight, especially south and east of Youngstown. And then here is our next weather maker, low pressure spinning through the upper Midwest. It also is tracking our way for tomorrow, and this is the system that's going to start the pattern change that is definitely a change for the colder here late in the week, into the weekend, and beyond as well. And yes, there is some snow with this up in the Dakotas and parts of Minnesota, northern Wisconsin as well. All right, so let's head into the future then. We'll talk about the short range first, of course, and we'll focus on rain timing tonight. If you want to get outside the rest of the day today, you are looking good through the end of the daylight hours and even well into this evening. We will be dry. Here's the simulated radar this evening at 7 p.m. Showers trying to creep back into southern Ohio at this point. A few hours after that at 10 p.m. This is when rain chances will start to increase a bit in our viewing area, in the WFMJ viewing area. So you can see southern Columbiana County might start to get in on a little bit of rain as early as 10 or 11 this evening. Here we are at 1 a.m. Again, best chance of seeing these rain showers earlier than later will be south and east of Youngstown. And then as we head into the middle of the night tonight at 2 a.m., especially south and east of Youngstown, some rain. Same idea later on. You start to see some scattered showers trying to pop up to our west, but the steady rain is primarily south and east of downtown Youngstown. Now we'll head into the day tomorrow then, switching models here, going to the NAM model, which takes us out farther at a time. And here's tomorrow morning as a lot of us are getting up and around bus stop time and off to work time, and you're going to need the umbrella. Again, steady rain east. This will be more scattered shower activity, but it will be here in some spots tomorrow morning at around daybreak. So just plan on, a little bit of wet weather as we kick off our Thursday. Skip ahead to midday then. Here's a 10 a.m. Some rain around, and this is going to turn out to be kind of a clammy, not so nice day on Thursday with showers visiting us on a few occasions. Here's early in the afternoon at 1 p.m. Things are a little more scattered at this point, but still the threat is there to get a little wet. And then late afternoon, at about 4 p.m. here, you get the idea. Showers around as that low pressure system cruises in from the west. The center of that low late afternoon will be out in here, continuing to make eastward progress, and it's just going to make for an unsettled Thursday. It's not an all-day washout, but it's going to be a cloudy day and occasionally rainy at times as well. So that's the short term. Let's talk about the medium and longer range then. So we head into the day on Friday. Here's Friday morning. At this point, cold air pouring in from the north. That's a cold north-northwest wind. And on Friday, I think there will be some lake-enhanced rain showers around, especially during the first half of the day. The trough axis, and what I mean by that is trough of low pressure in the upper levels of the atmosphere, the bottom of that trough will be right in through here. And typically your most unsettled weather occurs underneath the bottom of that trough or east of it. When you get west of the bottom of that trough, air starts to sink more, and sinking air tends to scour out clouds and precipitation. So by 1 p.m., the base of that trough is out to our east, and so I think the most active part of Friday will be in the morning. Now, I wouldn't be shocked if we had some snowflakes trying to mix in with these rain showers on Friday morning. Friday afternoon, a drying trend, and most of us, if not all of us, will be dry for high school football playoff action Friday evening with some games around the area. I do suspect it's just going to be cold and dry. We got the weekend coming up. All right. As we head into the weekend, another front's heading our way. This is going to bring in somewhat milder air on Saturday. And by somewhat, I mean I think we'll get into the mid, perhaps even upper 40s. And it looks like any rain shower activity probably does hold off until afternoon. Here's 1 p.m. Our front right in through here. and showers starting to pop up here and there into the afternoon. This won't be much. A couple of showers Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, probably no snowflakes with that. And then on Sunday, a largely uneventful day. It doesn't look like much will happen that day. We do have some changes to the forecast to make early on next week. If you remember yesterday, I had a pretty consistently cold 7-day forecast starting late this week and taking us into next week. It now looks like there's going to be a little bit of a respite for a couple of days early next week. Weekends below average, and then Monday and Tuesday, as a strong cold front gets set to charge in. This will be the true Arctic air getting set to charge in. But ahead of it, a southwest wind will draw in some warmth. Monday into Tuesday, we might make it into the 50s early on next week. But there's no holding back this cold air. By the middle of the week, it's pushing in, so the front probably arrives Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening with some showers, and then the story turns to the cold. And yeah, this is a real December, if not January preview. Very cold air mass coming south for November. Here's the 16-day GFS ensemble temperature forecast. This is, pretty remarkable for this time of the year. Here's our brief respite early in the week, especially Monday. We might sneak above 50. But then check out a couple of days later. Here, a week from today on the 12th, this model's forecasting a high of 34. That's about 17, 18, or below average. 34 is our typical, afternoon high in early January. Ugh. And this is going to last a few days. Look at that. It's even colder a day after that. This model has 32 for a high. Next Thursday, we stay in the deep freeze for at least a handful of days for the second half of next week and into next weekend. Now, don't take these numbers verbatim. They're not likely to verify exactly, but pay attention to the trend here. This is a big-ticket item coming down out of Canada next week, a real pattern changer. What I wanted to do real quickly, so I don't want to make this video too long, but I will show you kind of the jet stream analysis here over the next week, and I think this is just neat to look at. So I'm going to bring this up. Oops. Bear with me for just a second. This is based on the GFS model. We're going to show you the jet stream here over the next week, starting with tomorrow. Notice tomorrow there is a pretty pronounced trough here in the east with our unsettled weather tomorrow. There's a ridge here in the Rocky Mountain states. I'm going to actually zoom out even farther. We're going to pay attention to what happens as we go through time here. Look at what happens around, this is Alaska up here, and then here's western U.S., western Canada. And this is just interesting to me how this all evolves as we go through time. Throughout the next couple of days, notice the ridge really starting to poke up along the west coast, and that's in response to a big deep trough, a huge storm system up around the Bering Strait, southwestern parts of Alaska. So that trough causes the ridge to pump up in the west, and that ridge pumping up in the west has it's a chain reaction. Trough then starts to form in the east, and this is a serious trough. We're going to be hearing in the media next week, of course, about the polar vortex. And yes, it is true that a chunk of the polar vortex will be traveling south next week. There it is right there, over the early part of next week. As we head into the middle of next week when the coldest period will be, here's the overall jet stream pattern. Big ridge popping on the west coast, arcing all the way up through Alaska, all the way across the North Pole. Huge ridge. And that allows the polar vortex to swing south. The polar vortex swinging south draws in serious cold into the U.S. during the middle portions of next week. So this is the jet stream next Tuesday, and then skip ahead to Wednesday. Probably the coldest period for us will be next Wednesday, next Thursday. This is a pattern much like we had during the coldest parts of last winter. If this were January, we'd be talking about highs maybe not getting out of the single digits and lows way below zero. It's not January, it's November. So, it won't be that extreme in terms of the absolute temperatures, but compared to average, this jet stream pattern here it means business. So what does this mean in terms of our practical weather? Well, a couple of things here that are interesting. Here's high temperatures on the European model. This would be next Wednesday. These are high temperatures. Now, around here, it's probably lower 30s at best, but these are high temperatures in the teens in parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Dakotas. High temperatures in November in the teens. And yes, this is going to crank up the lake effect snow machine. Again, this is a week away. Don't take these numbers, verbatim, but it gives you an idea as to what we can expect. This will be mostly a west to east oriented lake effect event next week, so we don't expect much at all across our viewing area, but Ashtabula and especially up towards Erie, PA, Buffalo, Jamestown, Dunkirk, New York, they're going to be breaking out the shovels. And then downwind of Lake Ontario up towards Watertown and up into the Adirondacks, This will be a big ticket item, a real bona fide early season lake effect snow outbreak. All right, that's the 10-minute mark. Enough is enough. Thank you for sticking with me on today's Weather for Weather Geeks. I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 6 and 11.